Alrighty, so we might as well get started. The way, in case you're not familiar with awareness games, the way I usually do these sessions is I usually write a few notes or a little bit of an essay before each session and then read that. And then, awareness games are ways of playing with your mind to point it from the content of awareness to pure awareness itself, which I discovered is where happiness lives. And since this all started for me for a search for happiness, not necessarily a search for enlightenment, but just plain old garden variety happiness, didn't want to be depressed anymore, I discovered I was looking for happiness in all the wrong places. I was looking for it out there and things I could achieve, things I could get, relationships I could have, and stuff like that. And it's just not where it is. There's certainly enjoyment to be had in those places, especially if you're connected to the real source of happiness. But it's in the background. It's in the background of all experience. What knows your experience? What has known your experience and has never changed ever since you were a little kid? What is totally okay already with everything that's happening right now? Like a mirror that doesn't choose what to reflect, it just reflects everything that appears in front of it. Awareness is a little bit like that, and that's one of the reasons it has that quality of happiness, because it doesn't have any resistance to what is. It doesn't have any ideas that what is appearing shouldn't be appearing. So I'm going to be, going through a little bit, as I mentioned, a little essay I wrote, and then uh, the awareness games and meditations that I have that are also in my book, Awareness Games. Thank you, Nelson, uh, for reminding me to mention it. Um, some are very short that you can just do in a couple of seconds many, many times in a day, and some are longer guided meditations. If in between any of them anyone has any reaction, feel free to unmute yourself and say something or put something in the chat. And then maybe a little bit after the halfway point, where I think we're going for an hour and a half, I'll open it up to general questions, answers, comments, and anything you want to share. So I'm going to start with the little thing that I wrote up for today, which is called, "You can't see it, you can only be it." And that phrase is actually my favorite phrase in awareness games. You can't see it, you can only be it. So many people have a hard time grasping awareness as the source of happiness and as your true nature. And I think this is because they see awareness as a thing to get, or a state to achieve, or something they don't have enough of, so they'd like to get more of it. But the challenging part of that is that awareness has no qualities of its own. That's because anything you could notice has qualities that can be named. And all that naming and noticing happens in awareness, which is free, open, clear, choiceless, formless being. So when you look inside for awareness, what do you think you're looking for when you look inside for awareness? So if I ask you that question, look inside for awareness, what is it that you feel you're looking for? Usually when we're asked to look for something, we assume it's a thing that we're hoping to find, something that we can name and point to and say, that's it. But it's a little bit tricky looking for awareness. The trick is that there isn't any thing to be found. Anything that's a thing is known by awareness and therefore isn't awareness. So it's not about the thing that's found. It's actually about the act of looking. The act of looking turns your attention around. And it's that turning around of your attention that's the goal, not the finding of the thing that you can name. Usually we're looking out for what we can get, looking out for what we can decide that needs to change or that we can fix, or looking at some experience we're having, a feeling, an emotion we're having that we don't want to have, a thought stream we're having that we don't like, that we think we might want to quiet or get rid of. All of these things are objects. All of these things are things that can be known, that appear in the blank field of awareness, like words on a whiteboard appear in the white background, like sounds appear in the field of silence. And so it's not really, it's about turning your attention away from those things that are objects and saying, look at awareness itself. Ask, in what do all these appear? But because it's clear, because it's empty, because it's choiceless, because it's vast, because it's infinite, the mind can't know it as a thing, as an object. Yet, when you turn your attention back, you connect to it. It's like this field in the back of your head that has this energy, this loving presence that can then flow back and somehow send its perfume or infuse your present experience. So you can sense it, but you can't really know it in words, or you can't see it as a thing. And that's why I say that you can't see it, you can only be it. So the first thing that is helpful to know is that when you are doing these awareness practices and turning your attention, that there are three things, there are three real steps to make that I've talked about a lot before. I call them RAW, R-A-A, for relaxing, allowing, and awareing. And relaxing is just becoming physically relaxed, just, letting whatever clutching you have inside go. And the second is just for now, allowing everything to be as it is. In other words, dropping the strategy to change your present experience, good, bad, or indifferent. Even if you're unhappy or you're anxious or your mind is going, whatever, just allow that to be as it is. And the third is awareing. I call it that because since awareness isn't a thing, it's more like a verb. Awareing is that little turning of your attention back to the background. And then you can do another little turn and look out from there as awareness, because it's you. You are awareness, and everything you notice appears in awareness and appears in you. So you can sort of be awareness, only knowing. It's like awareness being aware of awareness. So the first game we usually play in these is some sort of relaxation game. And so this one I call Honey Sunshine. And so start by just taking a few easy deep breaths. And imagine, maybe right above your head, there's this warm, golden, honey-like sunshine that's pouring down. And imagine that golden honey sunshine just sort of entering through the top of your head, just running down like golden, thick, delicious, syrupy liquid, warm and delicious, flowing inside and between your ears, behind your eyes, your jaw, behind your mouth, your chin, your neck, front and back. And this honey sunshine just dissolves any tension or clutching you have. As soon as it touches it, the tension goes. So it runs down your neck and to your shoulders, the sides of your shoulders, and the front and back, your shoulder blades. And it can split into two channels and run down the inside of your arms, spreading its honey sunshine down your upper arms and your elbows and your forearms, wrists, hands, splitting 10 ways down each finger, sending its golden honey, sunshiny relaxation. And notice that it's also now flowing down through your chest area, upper chest, around your heart area, and all your inner organs in your upper chest, behind your ribs, down through your middle torso into your belly, filling out your belly, front and back, with its relaxing honey sunshine, spreading out into each hip, in both directions, down into your seat area and your groin area and your thighs, just rolling down. And into your knees and calves, shins, ankles, into your feet, heels, ankles, soles, balls of your feet, tops of your feet, every toe, spreading out its warm relaxation. Now just take maybe half a minute or so just on your own to check if there's some place it missed, some little spot that's holding tension or clutching. And just notice it and send some honey there. And when you're ready at your own time, take another couple of nice, easy, deep breaths and open your eyes. Earlier I mentioned the mirror. And so one of the quick games is called Be a Mirror. And you can do this anytime you remember to do it. It takes just a few seconds. You do it many times in the day. So that's a nice thing about some of these practices. Locke Kelly calls them glimpse practices. He has his own set. And he's the one who first said to me, small moments many times a day. Because a lot of times we think what we need to do is make sure we get a good 2 hours of meditation in order to get it. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you love doing that, you do that. But it's not the only way, and it's not necessary. You can actually just many times play a little game that turns your attention to the background of awareness. And pretty soon you start to get the hang of it. You start to get the feel of it. You can sort of drop in at will. And then you do them many times, and each time it starts to connect with each other like drops of oil in a pan. Just become one way of living life during your day. So, the game, be a mirror. Here are the steps. Easy. Imagine you're a mirror. Ask yourself, am I choosing what to reflect? Or you can ask yourself, am I practicing reflection without selection? And just look around the objects. Right now, on my desk, I see a bottle of seltzer and an Amazon Echo. If I'm a mirror, do I decide I'm going to reflect that bottle of water, but I'm not going to reflect that Echo because I don't like Amazon? No, it's just clear. It's open. Whatever you see appears in you, the mirror of awareness. And it's something that awareness does automatically. You don't have to make it do it. You just have to notice that that's the way it is. You look around, you see something, it appears in awareness. You hear something, it appears in awareness. Thought pops in, it appears in awareness. An emotion arises, it appears in awareness. Other people, look at them, you talk to them, they appear in awareness. So the Be a Mirror game is just be that mirror, that clear mirror of awareness whenever you think of it. I'm going to move on to another game, but feel free if you have a question or a comment to pipe in. The next one is called foreground, background, flip. And this is a way to just sort of get the feeling of changing back and forth. Because, as I mentioned before, the basic premise of awareness practices or games or meditations is to turn your attention from the foreground, meaning the content of awareness, to the background, which is awareness itself. So this one I just call foreground, background flip, just sort of play around with going back and forth. So it goes like this. Notice something. You start with what's here. Anything. A simple object like a cup of tea on your desk or table. So you ask, well, where is it? There's a cup. It's on the table. So you see the cup on the table. The cup is in the foreground. The table is the background. So in your mind, flip back and forth between the cup and the table, between the foreground and the background. Notice the cup, notice the table. And of course, you can do this with a painting on the wall or a pillow on your couch or whatever. Pick something that's on something. Cup, table, cup, table. Now, think about that cup and notice your thought. You have a thought of a cup. Where's the thought? It's in my mind. Okay? If so, the thought is the foreground and your mind is the background. So you can make it a simple thought, like a word, like hot, or cup, or hearing, or it can be any kind of complex thought. See if you can take a simple thought, like a word in your mind, like sound. Let's take hot, since it's a hot day today. Hot appears in your mind. See if you can toggle back and forth between thought and mind, foreground and background. Now think about you. Notice your image of yourself. You have an idea of yourself. It's an image in your mind, a self-image. Where is it? Where is the image of yourself? Is it in that pure background? If so, you're the foreground and that pure background is the background. There's me, and then there's the background that knows me. There's the awareness that knows what you sense as me. See if you can just play around with toggling back and forth and flipping back and forth between me and the background of awareness that notices me. And you can play with this. Because the whole idea of awareness games is that there's this infinite well of happiness that is within each of us as the background of awareness. But because it's tricky, because we think of it as an object, it's a little tricky to find it. And so we have to play around with it in hopes that we fall in. And so one way, and so you're toying with your mind. You're saying, okay, let's see. Object, background, foreground, background. Buddhists call it the half step back. Being what everything appears in, the pure, choiceless background of awareness. Now we're going to do a little bit of a longer guided meditation called Be the Sky. And but before we do, I always like to pause. Questions, comments, anything anyone would like to add? All righty, moving on. It's just another way of looking at the same thing. Be the sky. And the object of this is to imagine that you're the sky above the clouds, looking at whatever appears from the clear, blue, infinite space of awareness. So imagine that you're looking up at a clear blue sky, pure, beautiful, cloudless blue sky stretching to infinity. Now imagine a little puffy white cloud sort of wafts into view. And then another one. And then a bigger cloud. So you've got these three puffy white clouds, but plenty of blue sky you can still see beyond the clouds. Then some bigger, darker clouds appear. And then bigger, big dark clouds. And the whole sky is filled with dark rain clouds. You can't see even a patch of blue anymore. Then it starts to rain, and thunder, and lightning. Where's the blue sky? Is it still there? Behind the clouds and the rain? Well, let's see. Let's start over. Clear all the clouds and rain in your imagination. You're starting again with a clear blue sky. Now imagine that you're looking up at the clear blue sky. Pure, beautiful, cloudless blue sky stretching to infinity, just like before. But this time, imagine that you're floating up into the sky, up and up above the cloud level. Now turn around and look down and notice a little puffy white cloud wafting into view below you. And another one. And a bigger cloud. So they're below you, but around you and behind you, plenty of blue sky. And bigger, darker clouds appear. And more big, dark clouds. It's the same big, dark clouds that filled the whole sky when you were looking up at them, but now you're above them, floating in blueness, looking at the storm below. It's rain, thunder, lightning. You're the blue sky, watching the clouds and rain and lightning, but your blueness remains. Watch from above the clouds. Be the sky. That's pure awareness. Now, still imagining yourself as the clear blue sky, watch as some thoughts roll through. Little light, fluffy thoughts at first, then some darker ones. Then some emotions roll into view, stormy feelings, all the accompanying tension and internal arguments and strategies to get rid of the feelings. Maybe tears fall like rain. But you're the blue sky of awareness, above the storm level, calmly, serenely, watching the torrent of thoughts and emotions, knowing you're untouched by them, knowing that your lovely, pure blue self is unharmed, unconcerned, and will remain blue and serene after the stormy thoughts and emotions dissipate and roll away, as if they'd never been there at all. you are that untouched, unharmable, serene, silent, spacious, clear sky of pure awareness. Be the sky. There's a sort of accepted truth or opinion in spiritual circles that thoughts are something to get rid of. In other words, want to quiet the mind and get rid of thoughts. And I know what they're talking about. And I believe some people can achieve a thoughtless state, at least temporarily. Personally, I don't think you have to when you discover that even when thoughts appear, the real me is like that blue sky, the pure background of awareness, untouched by the thoughts, unchanged, serene. Thoughts come and they go. But if you want to play around with quieting your mind and with getting rid of or reducing thoughts, here's a really simple game to try. It goes like this. Give yourself permission to think anything you want, except for thoughts about the past and thoughts about the future. Try it. I don't know about you, but I failed immediately because the first thought that came was, well, let's see, how long should I do this, or what exercise or game should I do next? But if you don't kick yourself over it, and you just let those thoughts come, and you realize, oh, that's a thought about the future. Oh, that's a thought about the past. What if I only knew thoughts about now? And you start to notice what's here now. Sounds, sensations in your body. And the more wordlessly you can notice them, the better. See if you can notice just what's happening right now, just what's appearing. The sensations in your body and the sounds. Just start with those two and see if you can notice them without labeling them and without using words. And if you fail, then just ask yourself, well, what's noticing that? Is the awareness that noticed my body sensations the same as the awareness that noticed the sounds? The same that notices the thoughts? The same that notices that I failed at not thinking about thoughts of the past and the future? It's all the same. It's all one big, huge, empty, clear, spacious field of awareness. And it's you. Who you really are. Not your body, your personality, your mind, your ego, all that stuff, that's things, that's objects that appear in you, the real you, bigger you. I call it the little me and the big I. The little me is your body, your mind, your personality, your ego, your name, your occupation, relationships. Little me, little me. Big I, what all that little me stuff appears in. What anything that you can give a name to appears in, but has no name itself. It's nothing. It's not a thing. The real you. Big I. Or big guy, in my case. How's everyone doing? Any questions or reactions or things you'd like to share? Thank you, Pallavi. So glad you're enjoying it. I'll do one or two more, and then we'll definitely see if we can have a Q&A. Because this one, I love this one. I call this map without borders, or imaginary lines. And so anyone who's familiar with the map of the US in the West might know this. There's a spot in the US, and it's called the Four Corners. And it's where, let's see, it's the southwest corner of Colorado, and the southeast corner of Utah, and the northeast corner of Arizona, and the northwest corner of New Mexico. And they all meet together like this. And it's possible because each of these states have at least two adjacent borders that are straight lines. That is, they're not created by any geographical features like a river or a seashore. And in the case of Colorado, all four borders are just straight lines. And each pair of straight lines forms a right angle. And so four of these right angles touch each other at one spot called Four Corners. And so tourists love to go to Four Corners, and they love standing on the Four Corners monument, which is a circle on the ground with a cross in it. And they have 1 foot in one state and 1 foot in another. And some people like even put one hand down in a third state and another hand down in a fourth state and say, hey, look, I'm in 4 states at the same time. So my question is, are there 4 limbs actually touching anything that's different from each other in any real sense? If you step across the border from Colorado, say, to New Mexico, have you actually stepped over anything real? Is there really a physical line in the dirt or a change of soil that tells you stepped from one state to another? No. Lines are simply agreed upon imaginary lines that demark political jurisdiction. So the game to play with this is to imagine, and you don't have to believe it's true, just imagine it. Imagine that awareness is like this. Imagine that everything you experience, that is, everything that you're aware of, appears simultaneously in the same awareness. So imagine the sounds you hear are Colorado, and the sights you see are Utah, and the smells are New Mexico, and thoughts are Arizona. Notice that they all appear in one field of awareness. Sights, sounds, thoughts, smells, body sensations. Oh, I added a fifth state. Whatever appears, it's all one field of awareness. And you can notice that awareness itself is actually undivided. It's just one. And you just notice that by looking. And even if you don't believe it, if you imagine that it's so, that's enough. Because looking and imagining that it's so is the practice. It is what turns your attention to undivided awareness itself. The USA, the United States of Awareness. Barbara Stokes, to everyone, says, I have been working with the thought, this moment is enough. That seems to help me stay present. Yeah, I love that. I love that. This moment is enough. Because usually we have all these strategies to change this moment into something else. And as a matter of fact, whenever I try to play an awareness game to sort of connect to that infinite joy of awareness and I fail, here's the reason why. Always one of these. Either I'm trying to create some past state, recreate some state that I like, or create some imagined state, or I'm trying to get rid of a feeling or something that's happening now. So I'm either trying to get something that's not here or get rid of something that is here. And so when you say, Barbara, this moment is enough, you're right. And the other thing is that that's a great example, which I love, of just making up your own awareness games. Michael says, when I was a child, I used to really believe that because weather was different in different states, it could be raining on one side of that line and sunny on the other. I love it. Yeah, I know. Isn't it amazing what we think as kids? I remember, that reminds me. What was that? There was a book of like kids' bloopers, I remember. And some kid on a test wrote the equator is a menagerie lion that runs around the world instead of an imaginary lion, a menagerie lion. So does anybody have any reactions they want to share? You can feel free to unmute yourselves. Or type a question in the chat. Or just totally chill and relax and be. That's cool too.
I think it's wonderful that you have these games, and it is true. Just to anchor me back in the moment, I feel like sometimes it was hard to concentrate. So I think my visualization skills, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. But after maybe like a minute or two, sometimes I just wander off, and I
Yeah.
have to remind myself, come back, come back. And I feel like there's a lot of tension here.
Uh-huh.
That's where my anxiety and stress comes from.
Yeah.
So I always have to anchor myself back.
Yeah. 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 It's good to know that. And you can do a few little like, you know, and shake it out if you know that's where your tension is. But the beautiful thing about it is that it's so fantastic, such a fantastic discovery that even when your mind wanders, awareness is still there. Pure, unchanged. It's noticing your mind wandering. And when you catch your mind wandering, and then just the idea, just the very act of catching it brings you back to awareness. And so instead of a failure, each time you catch it is actually a little mini success.
So, Brian, it's Michael here. Just like to say thank you very much for running this. This is my first, so hopefully I'll be back for many more.
Oh, welcome.
I'm dialing in from Australia, so those states are in Australia, not the States.
The United States of Australia, right?
Exactly.
Does Australia have any what I forget, are they called provinces or are they called territories?
No, we also have states, but we also have territories.
States.
Yeah, we have territories as well. A couple of territories and 5 states.
And are any of them have like straight line imaginary borders?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so perfect analogy. But yeah, I apologise. I joined late, and I will have to jump off a little bit early, so I apologise for that. But I just thought I'll jump in anyway.
It's totally okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey, I just have a quick question for you. There's a teacher in Australia. I know Australia's a big, huge country, but do you know who Sailor Bob Adamson is?
I've been sitting in Sailor Bob's lounge room every week for a couple of years when I can make it.
Yay!
Yeah.
But he came to the U.S. only once that I know of, since I've been aware of him. And he went to Connecticut. I went for him for 2 days and hung out with him. I just loved it. It's great.
Yeah, he's beautiful. He's got sessions he runs each Sunday on Facebook Live. And Zoom's on Tuesdays and Thursday nights too. So jump on his website and you want to have a listen. But he's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, he's getting on.
And 91 now.
91.
Yeah.
And he was a student of Nisargadatta Maharaj, one of the great Indian sages of non-duality from back in the, in the mid 20th century. And one of our connections with one of those guys.
Yeah. Sailor Bob Adamson.
Yeah, Sailor Bob Adamson. Yeah. Oh, and Sailor Bob wrote a book that has probably my favorite title of any book. What's wrong with right now unless you think about it?
Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. You put the little link to Sailor Bob. Oh, that's so great. Well, thanks so much, Michael, for joining. And don't worry about coming on late or leaving early. It's, just happy to have you.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Sure. I want to make sure I give anyone who has a question or wants to share anything a chance. Hi, Shanti. I see you.
Hi, this is my first time, and I just wanted to say, I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good to see you. Where are you dialing in from? What
Chicago.
part? Chicago. You know, I've never been to Chicago. Can you believe it?
Oh, you have to come
I hear it's a great city. I've been close.
when the pandemic, at least.
Yeah. When we all start traveling again.
Yeah, yeah, you'll have to come and try some deep dish pizza.
Yes. I'll have to I'll have to like go off my diet for a day.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've never done anything like this before, and it's just I'm just noticing a difference, and I don't really know what to call that difference, but I think something's telling me I need to keep coming back. So
Oh,
thank you.
great. Thank you for saying that. That's wonderful. Yeah, you know, and the thing is that a lot of people have an idea of a big boom, a big awakening, a big blossoming into enlightenment. And that can happen. That, you know, I don't have anything against that. I think it's grand. But the very idea of that has baked into it a concept that this is something that's going to happen to me sometime in the future, before which I was one way and after which I was another way. And what if you didn't even have to worry about that? Because what if you had something in your pocket all of the time? And you could just go around in your normal life and you get involved in your life and do stuff and do activities. And then, but if you need it, you just say, oh, like sometimes I'll be going around and I'll find myself annoyed at something somebody does on the subway, or I'll find myself anxious or feeling sad or whatever. And instead of saying, oh, I must not be enlightened if I'm feeling this, I say, oh, okay, what's noticing this? What's this appearing in? Or just say RAA, R-A-A, relaxing, allowing, awareing. And the more you do it, the quicker you pop into it. And so you just go, boom, ah, I notice it. There it is. There I am. That's the real me. This Brian thing is just like an action figure. That's what Paul Hederman calls it, the action figure. Shanti video to everyone Tuesday and Thursday nights. What does that refer to?
That's what the man from Australia said was when Sailor Bob does his
Oh, okay.
So I put that into the chat for everyone.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, but I agree. Like I think that's what it is. It's not some big epiphany or anything, but it's like this subtle thing that the noticing that really wasn't there because I'm usually on autopilot. So makes a difference.
You're right, though. It's very subtle. Like, I mean, at first it's subtle. After a while, it becomes like glaring. But at first, it's just like this subtle feeling of being, or the subtle presence of awareness. And these are just words that, you know, that you use as little reminders. They're not It's not really a thing that you could give a name to, but you can really notice it. And you can be it. Because you already are it. But it's not an it. Ah, words. Words are, you know, we have to use them. We talk and we help each other, and we talk about it, and we use them as little, like, fingers pointing to the moon, not really the moon. And but they're never the whole truth, because words are designed to create distinctions between things. Food, poison, safety, lion. And if there is only one thing going on, if anything, if everything is just simply energy waving in various temporary shapes and forms, dissolving back into energy afterwards, like whirlpools in a river, swirl around for a while and then return to the river. But they're never not river. I don't know where I was going with that, but oh well. We're never not awareness. Yeah, awareness is just one thing. And so words can't really describe it because it's the universe looking at itself, because it's everything. Oh, that's what I was going with. Yeah. So what I'll do, Craig, asked how you will be sending the recording. What I'll do is I'll I'll make a video of it and stick it on YouTube, and then I will put a notice up on the Awareness Games Meetup. So to anyone who RSVP'd to this meetup, send out a little email with a link to that YouTube. And some of the earlier ones are there now too. And Michael Whelan says, remember, it's AEST time. It's 10 a.m. Wednesday morning here now. I'm in the future. That's right. You're in the future. That's great. When I saw Sailor Bob, he was only in Connecticut for 2 days. And I was living in New York at the time. I don't remember even how I got out there. But so I went, 2-day-long things. And at the end of it, I went up to him and I said, oh, this is just so wonderful. I said, but he said, oh, I'm so sorry you're leaving. I wish you were here for longer. And he looked at me in the eye and said, do you need it? I didn't quite know what to make of it at the time, but I realized what he was saying. He was saying that I had this idea that he had something that I didn't have, and I needed more of him so I could get it. And he was telling me, you don't need more of me to get it, because you already are that. So that was a major takeaway from Sailor Bob. He's called Sailor Bob because he used to be in AA, and people only go by first names many years ago, and so there was Sailor Bob and Electrician Bob and Carpenter Bob, and so. So Michael says he was a drunken, brawling sailor as well. Yes, it just goes to show you that you don't have to be a saint to wake up. You can, yeah, I mean, it's so true. You don't have to be, this holy man on a mountain. You just be a regular person, because that regular person isn't who you really, really, really are. I would love to get him as a guest on Awareness Explorers, Barbara. Thank you. Awareness Explorers is a podcast that I co-host with Jonathan Robinson. And every 2 weeks, we put out an episode. We'll be putting out one this Friday. And sometimes it's usually just Jonathan and me talking about awareness. And every second or third episode, we get a guest. So, yeah, we should invite Sailor Bob on as a guest. What a great idea. That'll be fabulous. Oh, thank you, Barbara, for your mention of the podcast. So might as well, since we're talking about it, give a plug. AwarenessExplorers.com. You can find it. Yeah, jump on his Zoom. Okay, good idea. Okay, next time Sailor Bob has a Zoom, I'll get on it. It would be so nice to reconnect. Should we do one more? This one is a kind of a, let's see, what do I have on my agenda? Oh yeah, this one's a kind of a longer guided meditation. Okay, Yogesh says, how do I get to your podcast? Go to awarenessexplorers.com, and that's all the information. And I will just quickly stick the link in to the chat. Boom, and you can also get it on every known podcast. You can get it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, you name it. And also there's a guided meditation at the end of every episode, and we excerpt them, so you can also find those on YouTube and listen to the guided meditation. Some are by Jonathan, some are by me, some are by our guests. Rupert Spira has been on, Adya Shanti has been on, Mark Kelly, Byron Katie, all sorts of, just marvelous folks. Stuart Schwartz. Stuart Schwartz and Mark Kelly were teachers I personally studied with. Adya Shanti and Rupert Spira are ones that I've studied from afar because I love them and I love their books and stuff. All right, the heart meditation. So this is a meditation of imagination. So what I mean by that is you don't have to believe anything, you just have to imagine it, just for the duration of the meditation. And it comes in 2 parts. And part 1 goes like this. First, let's just take a couple easy deep breaths. And if you like, close your eyes. Oh, I forgot. It begins with eyes open. So you start by looking around. And you notice that your eyes are a sense organ. In other words, light and images are coming into your eyes and through them into awareness. So just notice that what you see is appearing in awareness. Now close your eyes and notice that you're hearing something. Whether it be my voice or an air conditioner or birds or whatever. And notice that your ears are a sense organ. In other words, sounds are coming into your ears and through them into awareness. So just notice that what you hear is appearing in awareness. Now notice the thoughts that are coming into your mind. And think of your mind as a sense organ. In other words, thoughts come into your mind and through it into awareness. So you just notice that your thoughts appear in awareness. And ask yourself, where is this awareness in which sight, sounds, and thoughts appear? So since the eyes are in the head and the ears in the head and the thoughts seem to be in the brain, most people will answer, well, it's in my head. So if that's true for you, just notice or imagine that awareness is inside your head. Now, in your imagination, drop down from the head to below the neck. Notice the sensations on your skin. Maybe there's a breeze, or you can feel your shoes on the floor. With your hands, you can feel your legs or the chair, the table. Notice your skin as a sense organ. In other words, sensations come through your skin and appear in awareness. Notice any other body sensations that are appearing right now, and notice the awareness in which they appear. Then ask, what if the heart was a sensory organ? What is appearing in it? What if everything that is appearing in all the other sensory organs is appearing in the heart or in the heart area? What if the heart was totally okay with everything that it experiences, with everything that appears in it? With everything that could ever appear? Imagine that your heart reflects everything that appears without choice, without exclusion. Imagine that it allows everything to be just as it is, just for now. You can go back to excluding or not allowing later if you want to. So just for now, imagine that your heart allows everything to be as it is. Imagine that this allowing is the definition of love itself. Imagine your heart is love itself. Imagine your heart is you. You are love. In part two, What if the entire body appeared inside the heart? So you imagine your heart expanding with love and allowing. You imagine your heart expanding to fill your entire chest. You imagine your heart expanding to fill your entire torso. You imagine your heart expanding outside of the boundaries of your chest and torso. And you imagine your heart expanding so that it includes your entire body. Imagine that your heart loves your body and allows it to be exactly as it is. Imagine your heart expanding to fill the entire room. Imagine your heart expanding to include everyone you know and love. Imagine your heart expanding to include everybody you don't know or don't love. Just for now, imagine that everything in the world is so close to you, so intimate with you, that the boundary between you and everything in the world starts to dissolve. Imagine you are your heart. You are pure awareness. You are love. You are everything. And at your own pace, when you're ready, take a couple of easy deep breaths and open your eyes. Barbara writes, the latest episode, What About Anger, was especially helpful. I seem to be annoyed easily lately. Yes, there's so much to be annoyed at in this world, isn't there? But it's the Barbara character that's getting annoyed, not the real you. The real you is what notices the Barbara character getting annoyed. And sort of what it's in its nature to do. Barbara says, that's what I'm telling myself too. It sounds like you don't really believe it. But you know, that's okay. Because one of the beauty parts of this is that you don't have to actually believe anything. There isn't a dogma. You don't have to believe all is one. You don't have to believe you're not the body, you're universal consciousness. All you have to do is play with imagining it. And that points you in the right direction. Good, glad it's helping. That's all the prepared material I have for today. All the games and meditations I planned, but I'd be happy to answer any questions or chit chat or thank you, Elaf. I'm so glad. So good to see you. I know I'm feeling a kind of a vibration. Like, hi Shanti.
I really like the heart one.
Anything in particular about it?
Yeah, I could feel it sort of expanding out, and as it was happening, I was just feeling love.
Yay!
Yeah, for more than myself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Planet.
Yep. You know, it's all really, 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 really simple. I just try and come up with as many ways of talking about it, as many different angles of getting at the same thing. Because everybody's different, and maybe with any luck, you know, it might hit home for somebody. But it's so simple. It's just what is this me? It's awareness itself, which is okay with everything, and it's already okay with everything, and it never goes away, and it's already here, and it's actually everything. Because there ain't nothing that ever appears to anybody that isn't in awareness. Even that, I'm saying too much. Even that's like too much words. It's just turn around, look inside, turn around, look out, be that. Be the background. Be.
I tend to do a lot, so it's nice to be.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, we all have busy lives and we have lots of stuff to do. But it's nice if you can just be like in between the doing, and then the being in between the doing starts to leak into the doing, and then the doing in some mysterious way goes more smoothly. That I can't explain, but I've experienced it. So I think I probably am doing this about every 3 weeks or so. So I'll send out, usually on Tuesday, I'll send out an email through Meetup when the next one comes. I'll send out a little email to everybody who RSVP'd to tell them when the recording is up on YouTube. It'll be tomorrow or the next day that I'll be able to get around to doing that. And you know, Meetup is great because you can send messages. You can go to the part where it says, you know, discussion, and you can put in a comment, or you can message me individually if you have any questions. So please, you know, feel free to do that. And thank you everybody for joining and playing awareness games together.
Bringing this other side of work as a prosecutor. That you can be a prosecutor, but you can also push progressive ideas and policies as it relates to criminal justice reform.
Hold on.
Voice at the table. Someone who obviously has worked as a prosecutor, worked as an attorney general.
Can you? Sorry to interrupt you, but
Opportunity to see the good, bad, and the ugly of criminal justice system, especially as it relates to African Americans, and has also had the ability to make a meaningful impact in terms.
I'm sorry to interrupt whoever is speaking, but I accidentally unmuted everybody. So whoever was just speaking, there was a lot of distortion in the sound, so I couldn't catch what you were saying. So if you'd like to say that again, can you unmute yourself individually and say it? Oh, maybe it was a TV in the background. Oh, okay. Maybe that was it. All right, so if anyone has anything last to say, just unmute yourself, say it, and otherwise, thank you, Wen. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Hope to
Thanks,
see you
Brian.
again. You're welcome.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Ilaf. Love you too.
I love you so much.
Hey. Love is fun. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.